Hello everyone, welcome to Discover This. I'm Tom Walker, and today we are in Palm Springs, California, and we're going to be visiting some of the places that are associated with Elvis Presley during his time here. So let's go start checking out some houses. Okay, our first house is here at 372 Camino Norte West. Now this is a house Elvis rented for a period of time in the mid-60s. As you can see, very nice privacy hedge, so we're not going to see a whole lot here. But you can get on Google Maps and get on the aerial and see what the layout of the property looks like. But he rented this house for just a couple years anyway. And had some famous neighbors. Corner down there is one of the homes Liberace owned and lived in here in Palm Springs. So, but this would be Elvis's first house that he rented while he was checking out Palm Springs, basically. So. Now we'll head to some of the more famous houses. So now we are at 1350 Ladera Circle. This is what's commonly known as the Honeymoon House. Around Palm Springs, it's actually better known as the Alexander House for its unique architecture. It was built in 1960. Elvis started renting this house in 1966 at the urging of Colonel Tom Parker, apparently. But Elvis rented this house for about 2 years, and out of the 2 years, spent about 9 months here, off and on, here and there. In May of '67, when Elvis and Priscilla were going to be married, this area was full of reporters and, paparazzi for the time, that kind of thing. So there's two stories I've heard. One is that Elvis and Priscilla were going to be married here in Palm Springs, and the other story is that they were actually going to be married in Las Vegas the whole time. So whichever story happens to be true, because there were so many reporters and people hanging around and floating around, Elvis, Priscilla, and the wedding party actually snuck out the back of this house, and behind this house was a vacant lot, and behind these homes here, where those palm trees are over there, is Rose Avenue, and there were some cars waiting on Rose Avenue for the wedding party, and those cars took them to the airport here in Palm Springs, where they flew to Las Vegas, where they got married at the Aladdin Hotel. Now it's about a 15-20 minute airplane flight from here to Las Vegas. But this is where they came back to Palm Springs, and this is where they had their honeymoon after their wedding at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas. So this house is, the current owners are preparing it for a showing in October of 2022 for Modernism Week here in Palm Springs. So you can actually buy tickets and get a tour of this house during that time. Ordinarily the house is not open for tours. However, if you go on, look at the videos for Days with Jordan the Lion, D-A-Z-E, Days with Jordan the Lion. He's actually been in this house at least once, maybe twice, and done some filming in there, so you can get a good look inside the house from him. But Modernism Week will be in October, and you can look that up and get tickets if you're going to be around here in October of 2022. So this is, again, what's known as the Honeymoon House, Ladera Circle. All right, we are around the corner from the Ladera Circle house, the Honeymoon House. This is Rose Street. Now, this has been a vacant lot for many, many years until now when I want to film this, and now it's not a vacant lot. But those hedges straight ahead on the other side of that wall back there, those hedges are in the backyard of the Ladera Circle House, the Honeymoon House. This is how Elvis, Priscilla, and their wedding party got out of their house, and they were picked up by cars here on Rose Street and driven to the airport, and then they flew in Frank Sinatra's plane to Las Vegas and got married at the Aladdin. So this is how they got away from the reporters and the people camped out on the street in front of that honeymoon house. So unfortunately, this new structure is kind of blocking a lot of that, but this is the way they got out, through this what used to be a vacant lot. So we are now at 845 West Chino Canyon. And this is the house that Elvis bought in 1970. And he owned until he died in 1977. In fact, when he passed away, 1977, he owned two homes, Graceland and this one. So Elvis and, at the time, Priscilla and Lisa Marie, but even after the divorce, Elvis would spend about 3 months out of the year here in Palm Springs. And after the divorce, Elvis did some construction and added about 2,000 square feet to this house. He added a second master bedroom, and he also added a small recording studio in the living room. And he ended up recording 9 songs in that recording studio. Blue Spanish Eyes, I Miss You, Are You Sincere, Sweet Angeline, were a few of them anyway. So if you're lucky enough to find a 1972 Palm Springs phone book, you'll find that Elvis Presley is listed in the phone book. Now, that's not totally unusual because many stars were listed in the Palm Springs phone book. It was very casual out here, so you know, the 60s and 70s, it wasn't unusual to find Hollywood stars listed in the Palm Springs phone book. So, but Elvis was listed that one year, 1972, if you happen to find one. Now, just to get your bearings, as we turn on the other side of that hill right there is where the Palm Springs aerial tramway is. It takes you up to the top of the mountain. Now, about 15 years ago, Blackie Lawless, who's the lead singer and guitarist for the heavy metal hard rock band Wasp, had an opportunity to buy this house. Now, he ended up not buying the house, but what he did buy was all of Elvis's master bedroom furniture. So he bought the bed, the nightstands, the dresser, the mirrors, all that stuff. So Blackie Lawless created himself basically an Elvis bedroom in his own house with all of Elvis's furniture. So this is 845 West Chino Canyon, the house that Elvis actually owned here in Palm Springs. Now you can see this is the back side of the house. You can see Elvis at one time had put up a privacy awning over the jacuzzi. That's been taken down. But anyway, it just gives you an idea. You can go on Google Maps and look up this property and see the layout. The pool's on the other side of that white wall straight ahead. But just to give you an idea. So we are on Via Lola, L-O-L-A Lola, as Ray Davies used to sing. And this is the former home of Jack Warner. head of Warner Brothers Studios and Warner Brothers Pictures, that whole thing. Now, he lived here for many, many years. When he owned this home, the person living behind him apparently used to throw some obnoxious, loud parties, and Jack Warner ended up buying that home behind his, which is just around the corner. We'll go there in a minute. Ended up buying that home and forcing that person to move out so Jack Warner could have peace and quiet, and he and his family could have their peace and quiet. So we'll go around the corner and check out that home on North Cajuela. Okay, so this is 1050 North Cajuela Street. So right around the corner from Villa Lola, right up there's the corner, right behind Jack Warner's house. So this is the house that Jack Warner bought so he could have some peace and quiet. Now, when Elvis was remodeling his Chino Canyon home, the one that he owned, he needed some peace and quiet because he was, trying to rest and relax, and there's a lot of this construction going on. So he ended up renting this house for a short period of time from Jack Warner. So Jack Warner was his neighbor and his landlord. So Elvis rented this house just for a short period of time while construction was being done at the Villa Lola house. So 1050 North Cajuela in Palm Springs. Now we're going to go see one more house that's associated with Elvis and his time out here. Okay, we are now on Via Vespero North, 1166. This is the house of Colonel Tom Parker. Colonel Tom Parker bought this house around 1966. It's just a couple blocks from the Ladera Circle house, the Honeymoon House, and 3 or 4 blocks from the Chino Canyon house, the one that Elvis actually ended up owning. Interestingly enough, during Elvis's 1967 wedding thing, Colonel Tom Parker's neighbor, his next door neighbor, was the owner of the Aladdin Hotel. So remains to be seen whether that's the reason they got hooked up with the Aladdin Hotel to get married in, or if there was some other reason. But Colonel Tom Parker's neighbor was the owner of the Aladdin Hotel. Colonel Tom Parker was well known for his barbecues. In fact, he had a commercial grade walk-in freezer installed in this house just for his barbecues. He'd host Elvis and the Memphis Mafia, and he was just well known for it. Now, the other side of the fence, you see there's like 3,000 palm trees back there, but these palm trees just behind the house, right on the other side of those palm trees, is the backyard of Dean Martin's house. So Dean Martin and Colonel Tom Parker were neighbors for a period of time. Dean Martin's ex-wife owned the house. I'm not sure if she still does. But anyway, Colonel Tom Parker's house, and he did own this for many, many years, even after Elvis's death, until he finally Colonel Tom Parker ended up moving to Las Vegas. So now we are on Palm Canyon Drive in the heart of Palm Springs, and we are in front of Las Casuelas, and this actually is this was his favorite Mexican food place. Elvis would come here, he had his own table, he would sit in the back near the kitchen, and he would always order the combination number 1, and he would have them substitute the refried beans with Memphis beans. So I'm not sure they still do that anymore, but you can come here and you can request the Elvis table, and you can order a combination number 1, and Live it up like the king of rock and roll. So this is Las Casuelas Original, the north end of Palm Canyon. So one other restaurant that Elvis liked to visit was Shermans. Shermans Delicatessen. And Elvis actually had a table here too. If you go into Shermans, it's a very popular place, but if you go into Shermans, it's lined with celebrity photos. And Elvis does have a picture on the wall, and he would sit at the table underneath his picture. So you can go in there, and Elvis would always order the hot pastrami sandwich. According to a long-time employee here, Elvis would always order the hot pastrami sandwich. So if you want to come to Sherman's, sit under Elvis's picture and get a hot pastrami sandwich. So last but not least, we are back here at Palm Canyon and Taquitz Canyon, and we are going to be looking at the stars. First off, Colonel Tom Parker on the Palm Springs Walk of Fame. And then over here on the corner, Elvis himself on the Palm Springs Walk of Fame. Right in front of the Wellwood Murray Memorial Library. Elvis Presley. So that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, from Palm Springs and the Elvis houses. I appreciate you watching, and we will catch you next time on Discover This.